Good evening, everyone. Today is our September 21st equinox meeting of the Environmental Quality Commission. Welcome, everyone. We've got a couple of different agenda items today, but I'd like to introduce the folks, and maybe we can have our sustainability manager, Rebecca Lucky, do the roll call.
Sure. Thank you, Chair Cabot. So roll call. Please just state whether you are present so we could record that. Sorry, I lost my notes. Here we go. So Commissioner Elkins did let us know that she wouldn't be able to attend tonight. Commissioner Evans?
Here.
Chair Cabot?
Here.
Vice Chair Headley?
Present.
Commissioner Lynn?
Present.
Commissioner London?
Here.
And Commissioner Schmidt?
Here.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lucky. So at this point, can you call for any public comment for items not on the agenda?
Sure, and just a friendly reminder to our commissioners and also any members attending the public. So we do ask for the EQC members to remain on screen for the duration of the meeting. You're able to control your own webcams and microphones. If you do need to take a quick break, you can turn off the camera and then return back and turn it on if there's an issue. Just please email me. And staff will engage webcams and microphones to make presentations and respond to questions that the EQC commissioners have. And so for the members who are in attendance and you want to provide public comment, that after the chair calls for public comment on an item you wish to speak on, you can use the raised hand next to your name or at the bottom of your screen. And then I'll be able to unmute your microphone and you can provide up to 3 minutes of public comment to the EQC. And you'll see a timer that will pop on the screen as well to help you kind of gauge how much time you have. And if you're calling from a landline or a cell phone, you can press *9 and I'll be able to see you raise your virtual hand. And with that, we're calling right now for public comment on any items that are not on the agenda. So you can use the raise hand feature if you're attending this meeting. I don't see any hands raised at this time. Chair Cabot, you may proceed with the meeting.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Lucky. And so before we get to our regular business, Commissioner Janelle London has been with the Environmental Quality Commission for a number of years, and she wanted a chance to talk with us and make an announcement. Commissioner
Yes.
London.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, it's been so wonderful serving on the commission. I've now been on for 6 years, so I'm definitely the old guard here. And unfortunately, my work and family duties are kind of becoming really overwhelming. And so I wanted to give someone else the chance to be a part of this amazing commission. So I am stepping down. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. And for the newer folks, I haven't even gotten to work with you very much, so I regret that. But this commission has a long history that maybe you guys know about it, but it used to be like the park bench beautification committee, basically. Like it was really, people weren't so worried about climate, so they had a lot gentler kind of an agenda. And now you guys are tackling, the EQC tackles the heavy work of possibly setting an example for our county, for the state, and for the world on how to really address climate change in a meaningful and rapid way. And so I so honor all the work that's been done in this commission and how far it's come from where it used to be with a bunch of folks talking about park benches to tackling the most challenging issue of our time. And it's both fantastic to see when we get to make progress and painful and frustrating when we don't. But that's how life goes. And I'd say for a commission, you guys actually our, this commission has made more progress on climate than probably most equivalent commissions in anywhere in the land. There's been amazing talent on here, and you guys have amazing talent. So I know that our environment is in good hands with you guys pushing forward, and I will totally help with the recruitment process for somebody to replace me. But I know there's lots of eager people waiting to make a difference. So thanks again for the honor of getting to serve. Rebecca, thank you for your leadership, and Ori as well. Rebecca, you've been inspiring and dedicated above and beyond what your job should be. So I also really appreciate that. So thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Commissioner London. Yeah, it's good to hear, what you've been able to see in your time on the commission, and it's been great to work with you and see the many, kind of inspiring efforts to really move electric vehicles forward and move gasoline usage specifically downward, and being able to do both at once. So that's been really kind of interesting and neat for us to look at and participate in. And I really do appreciate having all your help on this commission all these years. And so thank you so much for your service.
Thank you. I'm always around for any questions, historical wonderings, comments, etc. So thank you guys. I'll be gone, but I won't actually be totally gone.
All right. And Commissioner Evans.
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you so much, Commissioner London, for all your contributions, which are numerous. I've really enjoyed working with you professionally and personally. So there's a lot for you to feel great about. We'll miss you, but it makes sense. And thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And so at this point, we can move on to our regular business.
Okay.
And on to item D1, the approval of the minutes from our August 31st special meeting. And it was a special meeting because we were meeting off our regular third Wednesday schedule. All right. And so let's see, Sustainability Manager, Lucky, are you able to show the minutes on the screen? All right, thank you.
Yes.
All right, just give the commission a moment to look through them.
Sorry, I keep moving the screen around. Yes.
Oh, that's okay. And so take a moment to look at them, and then we'll see if there is any discussion or a motion to approve the minutes. Or a motion to amend them if you see an issue you'd like adjusted.
Chair Cabot, do you want to provide a bit of time for the public comment, if any?
Oh, yes, that's thank you for reminding me. Yeah, so let's see, Ms. Lucky, would you call for any public comment on the minutes of the August 31st meeting?
So at this time, if there's any members of the public that would like to speak on approving the July 20th, 2022 Environmental Quality Commission meeting minutes, you can raise your hand and we'll be able to unmute your microphone.
Okay, and
I think this
and
should be
these
the
are
August.
August 31st.
Yeah, sorry. Yes. I'm
minutes.
looking at the wrong line.
Right,
Yes.
it's got the date in it for the other meeting.
And if you're on a landline or cell phone, you can press *9 and I'll be able to see your virtual hand. So I don't see any hands raised at this time. Chair Cabot, you may continue.
All right, so at this point, do any commissioners want to make a motion?
I'll move to approve it.
Right. And is there a second?
I move to second.
All right, so moved by Commissioner Evans and seconded by Vice Chair Headley.
I'll take roll call. So Commissioner Evans,
Yes.
Chair Cabot,
Yes.
Vice Chair Headley,
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn,
Yes.
Commissioner Schmidt. Motion passes. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, and so now we go to item D2, which is to review and discuss our Environmental Quality Commission annual work plan. So it's a document that we put together each year and we submit it to the city council for them to approve or adjust. And so it outlines the breadth of topics that we want to express interest in working on during the upcoming year. And so it really lays out the territory that we will be able to work within and set some expectations for the types of things that we hope to accomplish, the types of analyses or advice that we hope to provide to the council in the coming year. Right, and so now I have not prepared any presentation on the work plan. Ms. Lucky, are you able to bring up the draft of the prior or the approved prior year work plan for commissioners to discuss and start editing?
Yes. Can you see the work plan?
Yes, we
Maybe.
can.
Okay, good. Let me scroll down a little bit and also do you want to use this time to call for a public comment on the work plan?
That is a great idea. Ms. Lucky, could you call for that public comment?
Sure. So at this time, if there are any members who are attending and would like to make public comment for up to 3 minutes on the Environmental Quality Commission's work plan for 2023, please use the raised hand feature at the bottom of the screen or next to your name. And if you're on a landline, you can press *9 and I'll be able to see your raised hand. Okay, I do not see any hands raised at this time. Chair Cabot, you may continue.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lucky. And so if commissioners can take a look at the attachment that I believe it's D2.3. Or I guess that's the page numbers, but so D2 and the pages. So what this document lays out each year is the kind of in topic areas, what are the goals of the commission and what activities does it want to be engaged in? And so it also gives us another chance to be thinking of the formation of any subcommittees that we think may be appropriate to help make additional progress outside of our regular monthly meetings in pursuit of achieving the goals and the strategies on that work plan. And so when I'm now looking at, well, actually, yeah, so I'm glad you've got the mission statement up there. And so one thing I've noticed is that our mission statement in here to me feels pretty accurate about the current focus of the EQC. But when we look at the city council charter documents, those have not been adjusted to reflect kind of the broader environmental focus of the commission. And so one possible thing to look at this year is asking the council to adjust the charter of the EQC to include its broader, more emphasis on its broader work, so that when people go to the website and look at the commission to consider whether they want to join the commission, they get a better idea of what the things we pursue. Because when I look at the city website about it, I see 5 of the 6 items are about trees. And one of the 6 is about the broader environment, including climate preservation. And so I was thinking that there, it may make sense to make a more balanced and representative view of what the commission activities are, and have the council, be more clear about what kinds of advice they're seeking from the commission. And Commissioner Evans.
Thank you. Wholeheartedly agree. And I think it'll be potentially important as we seek to recruit folks from all parts of the cities, for that the city website reflect what we do. And yeah, and was even thinking tonight as I was looking at it again before the meeting that, something about implementing the climate action plan ought to be the very first bullet. So yes, I support that entirely. It feels like it doesn't reflect that shift that Commissioner London was articulating at the beginning of this meeting.
Yes, thank you. And Vice Chair LaRocca Headley.
Thank you. I totally agree with what you and Commissioner Evans have said, especially in light of the current opening, although I'm imagining that it's, well, I don't know about the timing of filling the opening. The other thing I would love to see is everybody on this commission find something within the work plan that they're really excited about working toward. So if you haven't found a thing that you're really passionate about, maybe that's something to consider recommending and add to as we finalize this proposal to City Council. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Commissioner Schmidt.
Yeah, thanks, Chair Cabot. I'm just wondering, I'm not sure. Well, I think we're acting in this way, but I'm wondering if we're okay with adjusting the mission statement to maybe add a sentence that says something along the lines of, the EQC also works in partnership with city staff, community-based organizations, and citizens to promote and drive action on these issues. And I think as I reflect on new members joining and the legacy we leave behind us, I think the advisory element is really important, but referencing the fact that, as citizens, we also have a duty to promote action. So I would recommend maybe adding a sentence at the end of this around that.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, it's an interesting issue. I wonder how to balance it, because as this paragraph really talks about this commission as opposed to the members of the commission as citizens, and there are many activities. And so, I'm not sure of the mission. I have to think about that a little bit. Maybe it is that way already, as represented by one of the things I see on the city website, that the commission has an activity of organizing Arbor Day as one interesting representation of a thing. And so that's to be working with staff and community members to make an event happen. And so that kind of provides the evidence that your recommendation is in line with what the council expects, is that the commission as a body also works with staff and with community organizations in order to pursue items of interest.
Sounds good. Do we need to take that action and put it on like a recommendations list, or?
I think so. In prior times, I recall working on the work plan, and others may remember also. There is a process of kind of group editing the work plan, or having a subcommittee edit the work plan and bring back an edited version. So at this point, we could have some discussion of the full commission and make some recommendations and notes, and ask for a subcommittee to look at how to incorporate those items and then bringing it back at our next meeting for full commission approval. So that'd be a way to go if a subcommittee can be formed, and there are volunteers to do it who would want to take on that task.
This may or may not relate. I'm sorry, I didn't raise my hand.
Oh, no, that's fine.
This may or may not relate to the mission statement, but do we? I looked over this document before the meeting started, but do we have a formal subcommittee on CAP 6, so resilience, that especially impacts our Belhaven community, but also parts of District 2, District 1 and District 2 being most impacted. But I believe that the folks that are on that are either not on the commission anymore or may not be active on the subcommittee. Is it worth explicitly adding a sentence about climate resilience here, although you could sort of argue that maybe that's encapsulated in the term environmental protection, but calling that out in the mission statement, and then also making sure that we have an active subcommittee working with CAP 6. On CAP 6. And the reason why I think that's important is my understanding is that, well, first of all, I think it's implicitly important, right, to protect our most vulnerable. Beyond that, my sense is that there are a lot of separate, sort of disparate processes underway for protecting those communities who will receive the worst impacts of climate change. And I think it would be really helpful for the commission and the council to sort of have a formal way to keep track of what all those processes are so that we can lend our input in a meaningful way. So sorry, I may have gotten us off track there.
Yep.
I suppose I'm recommending an additional phrase to the mission statement that reflects climate resilience and taking a look again at the formation or reformation of a building subcommittee on CAP 6.
All right. Thank you. That sounds like a good recommendation. Is there additional commission discussion of that? Yes, Vice Chair Headley.
So in addition to the word resilience, when we did our outreach meetings in the Belhaven neighborhood last week, the other word that was really resonant with that community was around adaptation. So I'd like to include, if there was an additional sentence around resilience, I would say something like resilience and adaptation. Yeah, especially for our most vulnerable communities.
All right, thank you. All right, and so actually seeing that we
Tom, you're cutting out for me. Can the others hear you? You seem to be cutting out, Tom.
This is, I guess, a PDF that we're looking at on the screen. And so we're not editing it. I was just noticing, how is that? Let's see. And can you hear me now?
Now I can.
Oh, all right.
See if that sustains itself.
Let's see. So actually, in case I do lose contact here, Vice Chair Headley hopefully will be able to help lead the discussion. Yep. So let me try to preserve a little bandwidth there. All right. Now can you hear me?
Hey, Tom, we could hear you, but I think you're muted right now.
All right. And now how about this?
It's good now.
All right. We'll try it with them unmuted. In case that you do lose me, hopefully Vice Chair LaRocca will be able to lead some of the discussion. I just wanted to make sure that somebody is taking notes about these suggested additions to the mission statement because I've not captured them yet.
I haven't been, but I can attempt to do that if you'd like, unless somebody else is already doing that. It doesn't have to be me.
Chair Cabot, management analyst Rory Paz here. I am keeping notes and
Thank you.
we can review those before your motion. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Okay, so yeah, I think that's a good suggestion to be raising the whole issue of resilience and adaptation, and to look at repopulating the subcommittee that may want to look at that. And so I think, let's see, I think at this meeting, we're also able to have people volunteer into subcommittees that they find interest in and join those. So that's, I think, an activity that can go on alongside this work plan development. Are there commissioners interested in populating that subcommittee on resilience and adaptation, cap item 6?
I mean, I'd like to be part of it. I'm also very active on building electrification subcommittee, as you all know. I'm knee deep in the block power work, which is great. I enjoy that. So my time is stretched, but this one on climate resilience is pretty darn important.
Mhm.
So I'm happy to lend my help if someone would like to take the lead.
And maybe we can discuss it for a minute just so that people get a feel for what the vision of that subcommittee might be and what kind of activities they might do. You know, I'm thinking the real boots on the ground type of resilience and adaptation. There's you know, public works projects and San Francisco Joint Powers Creek Authority projects to keep the creek within its zone and keep it from coming into the neighborhoods. And then there are various analysis efforts that could go along with looking at the levees that are proposed by One Shoreline for you know, preventing bay flooding of various areas. So that's kind of an interesting area that's going on. And so city staff, mostly from Public Works, I understand, are involved in those types of activities. And I'm not sure if our sustainability staff is also involved in those, or to what degree, but there are some of those activities going along. And then, you know, when it comes to resilience, there's also helping people be ready for the heat waves, like the one we had the last week or the week before now. I forget how far away it is, but that was a record-setting heat wave, which is especially brutal in single-story homes without much ceiling insulation when the sun is beating down and it's hard to get cool. So there were efforts to have cooling centers available for folks and efforts to help people plan for how to stay cool. So there's those types of things as well. So there's lots of different things that to me look like staff work that needs to happen in resilience and adaptation. And then, maybe commissioners can discuss what they think commission work may be, which could be, discussing these matters with council and providing advice about council actions and policies that may assist with adaptation and resilience as we have these problems like firestorms, flooding, and heat storms. Yes, Commissioner Schmidt.
I believe you're muted.
And I was being so elegant too. Sorry. Yeah, uh, I'd also maybe like to propose a little more radical way of addressing this one. I was lucky enough to have coffee with Violet at CRC today, Climate Resilient Communities this afternoon. And we talked for a couple hours about Belhaven and, you know, adaptation and a lot of the issues that you raised. And there's a lot of work going on through CRC and a network of nonprofits. So could we more formally have this subcommittee work directly with the nonprofits on the ground that are already doing the work and maybe pull them together? Because I feel like, you know, we maybe don't need to create a lot of new stuff. We just need to take all the things that are happening and put it into a little bit more of an organized strategy. And maybe that's the purpose of the subcommittee, is to help convene a group of nonprofits that are already on the ground, you know, already boots on the ground, already listening to the communities, already have the trust of the communities, already building the cooling centers. Anyway, I would propose maybe a different way of doing this subcommittee versus just a bunch of actions we.
Thank you. Yeah, that does sound like a kind of a radical departure from, you know, sitting around giving advice. You know, so maybe more useful. Yeah, and Commissioner Evans.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's compelling, Commissioner Schmidt, and sort of consistent with what I'm saying is, although I haven't spoken with Violet directly, I have spoken with other public leaders in Belhaven, and what I am hearing repeatedly from them, or this is me sort of re-articulating what I believe that they've communicated to me in the past, is that it feels like there's a lot of pieces of work being done by different entities. Some of that's good, but they're not necessarily all communicating with each other. And I think that reference was not just necessarily with nonprofits, but also developers and processes sort of missing each other. At least that's how I think it's been articulated to me. And so it feels like there's a need for someone or an entity like ours to come in and keep track of all of that and figure out who is not talking to whom, but should be, and where are the holes, and how can we make this more comprehensive plan and make it meaningful. And then, of course, yes, I think we have to work with community organizations in Belhaven. Otherwise, we're sitting over here not knowing what we're doing exactly. So yeah.
I think that's totally right. I think what you're hearing is exactly what I heard today too.
Okay. Okay, that's good to hear.
And it does seem plausible that an outsider like a commissioner would be able to hear more things from different sets of insiders doing their different siloed work, and would be able to recognize opportunities and discuss them with the folks doing the work and with the community. So it's, you know, it's plausible that there's value to be added as a cross-pollinator in those efforts that are going on. And Commissioner Evans?
I'm sorry, I forgot to take my hand down.
Okay.
But maybe for folks that are interested in being on that subcommittee, it could make sense for us to have conversations with the Belhaven leaders, Violet, maybe Councilmember Taylor, if she's interested in doing so, and many others. Juanita Croft sent me an email as well a couple days ago about seeing how we can get support for a grant that she and others are working across San Mateo and Santa Clara counties to provide climate resilience work, and and have a conversation with them about how we could best help them achieve their visions collectively. What would be the most valuable for them?
Yep, sounds like an opportunity there. And Commissioner Schmidt.
Yeah, thanks, Chair Kevin. And I'd be interested in serving on that subcommittee with the express condition. I think I'm like a lot of folks. I'm in a number of subcommittees and I'm stretched, but I'm already going to be talking to Violet and I'm going to attend their Monday meeting, and there's already sort of work going on there. So if the subcommittee forms expressly for the purpose of being part of a broader coalition and not kind of not having one more subcommittee that needs to do stuff on our own in service of the CAP plan, but instead take some more joiner, what's the word? Cross-pollinator, I think you said, Tom. If we played more of that role as the subcommittee and we help bring groups together and things like that, then I would feel good about being part of that work as well. I just wouldn't want to kick off another subcommittee with 7 more deliverables, would be my recommendation.
All right, thank you. So it sounds like now 2 interested commissioners on the subcommittee, and there's room for a 3rd if somebody else would like to join into that effort. Our subcommittees can only be 3 members or fewer, but maybe it makes sense for those who are interested to meet with city staff and discuss what is the possibility for active or semi-active roles in cross-pollination as it involves city efforts, and then maybe talking with the different nonprofits about the opportunity and see what they think would be helpful as it involves their NGO efforts.
What, Commissioner Cabot, what's the smallest that a subcommittee can be? Like, can you have
1.
a subcommittee of 1?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And then I'm also noticing that Commissioner Elkins is absent, and she may, I don't know if she's interested or not, but it's worth, extending the opportunity to her, other committees as well.
Right. Unless anyone here tonight is also interested in joining in. But I just thought I'd make sure people know there's room always for 1, 2, or 3 members on our subcommittees, and always room up to 3.
I guess I was just gonna say, I mean, the reason why is I am stretched, but I also don't want to see this go under-resourced.
Right.
So I would like to fill it in if others aren't jumping for it. But if others covered it, especially as Commissioner Schmidt has articulated about maybe the way is joining existing processes rather than creating a new stream of work within ourselves, that seems more viable.
Right. I look forward to hearing what the subcommittee comes back with as far as what they feel their charter ought to be after talking it over with staff as well, just to see, what is a charter like for a more active subcommittee from the commission.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for raising that issue. Any more discussion on the matter of including a line about resilience and adaptation into the mission statement? Okay. So as I scroll down through the document, I get down, see, to there's a little bit of a kind of a summary page that's on D2.5. And so that summary page of the prior year's work plan that we're still in is there as an example. And then you see in the pages below on 2.6 and beyond, it gets into the details of the components of the work plan. So maybe we can have a little bit of discussion on what we see in that summary on D2.5 on the screen now. And then, also some discussion about new ideas, different than what we see there for the coming year, or, the validity of staying the course on some of those items versus changing them. As I look at item 1 there related to the climate action plan, in fact, that's the whole climate action plan in the 6 bullets, unnumbered 6 bullets. They look like they are, they're the cap items 1 through 6. To me, that's still an ongoing high priority for me to keep working on that and seeing what we can do to be assistive for the city in making progress on that climate action plan. There's a lot to it, and those are only the first 6 items, and at some point it makes sense to revisit the climate action plan some more. But staff has let us know that they have an intent of working on a cap action 1 item in a 2-phase process, where this fall they want to take to council a renewal of the REACH codes for newly constructed buildings. So just for new construction is where that mostly applies. And it also applies to remodels where more than, I think it's 75% of the building is remodeled or torn down. But just in those new buildings and substantial 75% remodels is where they have electrification requirements now. And they want to renew that so it stays in effect for the coming 3 years, starting 2023. And then also that they want to come back to council after doing some of their own public outreach and maybe taking advantage of some of the community collaboration outreach that's already started, but doing the substantial outreach on electrification opportunities and concerns in the community. And then taking advantage of the new substantial incentives that have become available by the federal government in the Inflation Reduction Act that radically reduce the consumer cost of all these measures, especially for low income and medium income people. And so they want to address existing buildings in some policy work this summer. So I think that will be a place for substantial EQC input, as we've done in the past about these matters. So it's looking like, it'll be a busy year next year, in at least the first half up through summer, trying to assist the council and the staff with looking at the REACH codes. As many cities are doing, many cities are also taking that kind of a 2-step process to do a renewal of new construction REACH codes first, and then the implementation of existing building REACH codes for things that maybe are burning out, or smaller remodels or additions or ADUs, those kind of things. So I'm seeing a lot of activity in our future around building electrification, and of course also around vehicle electrification and vehicle charging, as our, I believe it's cap action 3 is there on that, in that first set. So there's quite a bit that's still going to be happening in that item 1. So that's, and big activity area I see. And then item 2 on this list, the urban canopy preservation. And so I believe a subcommittee has been formed. I don't know if they've been meeting to look at that. Oh, excuse me, Commissioner Schmidt, you have a comment.
Oh, thanks, Chair Kevin. I was headed there as well on number 2, but happy to turn over to you. We did meet today, and I was going to suggest a slight update to item number 2.
All right. Good. Yeah. Let's see if, maybe go ahead and do that while it's on your mind.
Oh, yeah. So I think I would maybe suggest, and Commissioner Headley, please jump in because you were on the call as well. I think what we're narrowing in with Jillian is the idea that instead of a comprehensive urban canopy strategy, it's more of a formal urban forest master plan based on the urban forest master plan of East Palo Alto that was done a little while back. So we're working with a small coalition to try to find funding for that, to bring in someone that can help us develop it. So I would say maybe two changes here. One is changing comprehensive urban canopy strategy to urban forest master plan. And then I am not 100% sure that the group has got their head around hearing heritage tree appeals. It feels like the arborist Jillian spends a lot of her time working on the heritage tree ordinance and the tree appeals. I think our subgroup is a lot more about getting trees in the ground. So maybe there's some alterations to the whole thing around tree ordinances and tree appeals that are maybe a little bit more handled by the city than the EQC subcommittee. So
Thank you. So just to relay a little bit of the history as I recall, and maybe sustainability manager Lucky will also weigh in because she's been in it a lot more than I have. But there was essentially a community-wide effort to develop a heritage tree ordinance and modify the process for considering and appealing and protecting the heritage trees in the city. And so that is a new process that's a couple of years old and ongoing, and it has I think decreased the workload on the EQC by not having the EQC be as frequent a hearer of those issues. And so that's freed us up to be doing other activity. And then also I'm trying to think, maybe the way an advisory commission like us would be involved in that type of an adjustment between a comprehensive urban canopy strategy and an urban forest master plan is to be making advice to the city council, who would then direct the staff for which type of approach the council is looking forward to. So it'd be, there may be a project here for an advisory body like us to be comparing and contrasting the two types of work and making a recommendation to council for what they, which one we would suggest they pursue. And so, Rebecca, are you able to provide any more insight about maybe the history and current activities regarding EQC and trees?
Thank you, Chair Cabot. So maybe I just need a little bit of clarification from Commissioner Schmidt. So it sounds like the EQC is, or what you're proposing is development of an urban master plan, urban tree master plan, and that maybe the other elements fall under city operations. And so are you suggesting like maybe removing those last few pieces and retitling it? I just make sure I understand before I answer.
Yeah, thanks. I think a comprehensive urban canopy strategy is maybe a more generic name for essentially the same kind of thing, an urban forest master plan. That's maybe a little bit more, I think they're essentially the same. They may be key differences in that. So I'm really probably only on that first part suggesting an update to the language itself, but representing the same piece of work. And then I think you said it the right way, Rebecca, is I don't know that we're terribly involved in like heritage tree ordinance or tree appeals or all. I mean, I guess if we need to play that role, I don't know, Vice Chair Headley, if you have a passion one way or the other, but I think maybe removing those and making sure that they're a normal part of city operations, and maybe if you need the EQC for anything, great, but it doesn't necessarily feel like we're gonna add a lot of value in those two pieces. So yeah, I'd say maybe remove those two pieces and then still consider establishing an urban canopy inventory. That's actually part of an urban forest master plan. That's like one of the first steps. And this is all based on work that actually took place over the last few years in East Palo Alto. So we're kind of following the template that Canopy, and I think Jillian was involved in that work as well. And there was a lot of people involved in East Palo Alto. So we're just kind of trying to follow that same roadmap and template for Menlo Park. So yeah, does that help?
Yeah, I think that works then. So it sounds like, yeah, there isn't necessarily the proposal to kind of advise the city council on changing the ordinance or hearing heritage tree appeals. The commission would still hear heritage tree appeals if they are filed and fall under the criteria of the heritage tree ordinance. So, but does it need to be explicitly said in the priorities for the upcoming year? No, I think probably not, because it's already codified in our municipal code. So
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's probably a little bit more language change than anything else, Chair Cabot. Just saying, hey, you know, we're kind of zeroing in on the idea that an urban forest master plan is a key next step to get more trees in the ground. Particularly in Bellhaven, by the way, that's another big area of focus.
All right, and so perhaps the canopy subcommittee would be able to propose adjustments to that item 2 on urban canopy preservation at that we can all look at. Okay. Thank you. Any other, let's see, actually, Vice Chair Headley, I'd seen your hand up. The problem was the hand color is the same as your wall color, so I accidentally miss it now and then.
Thank you, Chair Cabot. I think it's mostly that I've been raising my hand up and down, and then other people say what I was going to say. So at the 3 people who are on the trees subcommittee, Commissioner Schmidt, Commissioner Elkins, and I are all really interested in the urban forest master plan. And I think the main question we have is, or at least I'm having, is this idea of the comprehensive urban tree canopy strategy. Is that broad enough to include the urban forest master plan? Because that's something that we would like to make happen specifically over the next year or so, to not only get more trees in the ground, I think, but also, you know, assess where the canopy is today and what do we need to do to preserve and protect and also grow. So yeah, but we can take that action item and come back next month with our proposal. Thank you.
Sounds good. And so then that brings us to item 3, the Green and Sustainable Initiatives item. It says to support sustainability initiatives as needs arise, which may include, but not be limited to, habitat protection, healthy ecology, environmental health protection, healthy air, surface water runoff, or surface water runoff quality, excuse me, water conservation and waste reduction. So that's a fairly broad category of green and sustainable initiatives that the EQC supports. To me, you know, I like seeing that in there. It gives us permission to advise on a broad array of items should we see the opportunity to do so. And so let's see, Vice Chair Headley, is your hand raised? Oh, sorry. And Commissioner Schmidt.
Oh, thanks, Chair Cabot. So I just had two questions on this one. Sorry, this is going to sound like semantics, but I know we're having the discussion about sort of advise versus activate. So I'm curious about the word support and what that might really mean, but also, and what that has meant historically, and also my experience with priorities like this that are catch-all is I agree with you that that's good because it gives us a wide berth, but it also sometimes turns into no priority at all. It turns into like, okay, here's the shotgun and it's going to scatter out all over the place. And so I'm just curious how this priority as written has actually been implemented and used over the last 12 to 18 months.
So one of the ways that I think it can be used and has been used is when one or more commissioners are interested in pursuing progress in one of those areas, they can produce a report for the commission to get full commission support for advising council in some direction on that matter. So this is kind of providing the permission for them to then make their commissioners report to the commission to try to get our full support to council to make a policy movement.
Perfect. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
And in a way, it's number 4 about gas powered leaf blower ordinance is like one of the items in item 3, but it was called out specifically because of high levels of interest, both from council, the community, and commissioners. So it was kind of singled out as another area to work on. And I believe there still is a subcommittee that's available to be working on that has room for other members to join if that's an interest for other folks. And we did hear a proposal from that subcommittee a number of months or a year ago. I forget my time scale nowadays, but we had forwarded it on. It was looking like a kind of a public nuisance type issue is the major issue that was being raised there. And so we were recommending that the council have the public safety department look into that as a public nuisance issue. And so I've not been hearing much come back, but in other communities where I've seen these types of ordinances adopted, there's often a problem of enforcement and a lack of resources to do enforcement no matter what. And so our idea was to send it along so that those who would be doing the enforcement would be discussing it with the council, who would be asking them to look into the matter. So I see a hand raised by Vice Chair Headley.
Thank you. It's my understanding that subcommittee was completed, or yeah, I thought when we discussed subcommittees a couple of months ago that we decided we didn't need that one anymore because its work was complete.
Yep.
So I don't know if it should be a ongoing priority here.
Yep, that's a good point.
I was also looking at subcommittees, and I believe that Commissioner Elkins was on the Climate Adaptation Subcommittee, but she was the only one who was listed, at least in the spreadsheet that I had been keeping. So just circling back to that earlier conversation about cap number 6 and making sure there are people on that.
Right. So perhaps if you're able to, maybe it's the new members joining that subcommittee and then meeting with, that full subcommittee, and then looking into meeting with staff and seeing about how to do that more active and cross-pollination type role that was discussed, or other roles that your subcommittee comes up with. Yes, Commissioner Evans.
On the gas powered leaf blower ordinance, yeah, I mean, I think maybe Rebecca, if you're willing to give an update, I know that it didn't make it through, but somehow it still might be on council's radar. Are they still asking you and other staff, Rebecca, for input on that? Is that still part of your work stream or sort of like projected work stream?
Yeah, I can give a bit of an update, Commissioner Evans. So we're getting close to having a study session in the near future. Chair Cabot is, absolutely on point with talking about how would we enforce a ban on gas powered leaf blowers. And so that's where a lot of the conversation has been internally. And I think all departments have capacity limitations. And so I think it's been more of a partnership of just collecting information, not the sustainability staff, but it's through some of our contracted contractors that we have on board. And so we're able to kind of understand what other cities are doing, see information from CARB, and there is a very, I'd say, a big correlation in looking at this issue from a greenhouse gas reduction perspective, in that just looking at the total amount of small off-road engines, SOARs is what the acronym is, and being able to phase those out in advance of the ban on the sale of small gas-powered, off-road engines in 2024. So I think what we're doing is we're leveraging what the state is going to be doing just starting January 1, 2024, and possibly looking at how can we, expedite that. And so we're getting pretty close. And so I think my time is a little bit more involved at this stage, whereas it wasn't so much in collecting all the information. But I think it will have a very big impact on greenhouse gas reductions, just based on what CARB has analyzed about the amount of emissions that do come from these small off-road engines.
Excuse me, I just wanted to distinguish between a different pollution type called criteria pollutants that really harm lungs versus greenhouse gas like CO2, which is the big climate change problem. The small off-road engines that are very dirty little engines, they don't use a lot of fuel, but they create a lot of criteria pollutants because they have kind of an incomplete combustion cycle, and they often lack catalytic converters. And so they're really bad for health and lungs, but they're, eliminating them does not make much of a dent in our greenhouse gas emissions. It probably makes the community a lot more pleasant and improves the health of the workers and the citizens around all the blowing equipment. But I just want to distinguish it from greenhouse gas efforts. It's really it's a very important thing to address, but it's criteria pollutants for health.
Yeah, and I think I'd say that CARB has done some updated research on the impacts, and again, I would state that there is a greenhouse gas impact by reduction in removing that equipment, and a lot of it has to do with the carbon coefficient, because a lot of these small engines, are using gasoline or diesel, which has a higher carbon coefficient than natural gas. And I think that's where the differentiation is. Even though they seem small, they don't seem like they're used all the time, but the amount of power and the amount of gasoline or diesel that is used is emitting greenhouse gas emissions. And so there's a couple, I've seen like a couple of studies that have been referred to from CARB that really do show how it transcends even kind of vehicle emissions in a lot of ways. So I think it's important to kind of look at it probably in a more technical aspect of it. But I can share the study that CARB did with you, Chair Cabot, and others. I'll probably forward it to all of you if that's helpful.
Thank you. Yeah, that would be helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I really just was, I think part of the reason I'm asking, although that all that detail is really helpful, is just I was trying to figure out if there's still a need for EQC to work on this, or, you know, I was trying to figure out how much is being requested from you in this context, Rebecca, and if you still need EQC, or if there's a demand still for EQC to have a subcommittee here, or if in fact it is done.
Yeah, Vice Chair Headley is accurate in saying that the commission did disassemble the leaf blower subcommittee, and it was really a matter of staff coming back to City Council with a recommendation.
Mhm. All right, so it does sound like it's an item that has been handled by the commission and is working its way through various processes, including having been through the legislative process at the state, resulting in the ban of the sale of new engines after or starting 2024. But the existing engines will still be around, and so there still is room for the city, if it wants to do things, to work on their policies about that. So, but the EQC has already weighed in on that. All right.
So then that means we get rid of number 4 in the spirit of what you just said, then, I guess.
Yep, that sounds like what we ought to do. So let's say if we're bringing this back to the commission for decisions at, say, our next meeting, we would have that in strikeout for removal. Okay, and so Ms. Lucky, could you remind me on the next page, D 2.6, it's starting to outline steps that the commission goes through in its work plan development. So on the left column.
I think Vice Chair Headley had her hand up. And
Oh, yes, sorry.
The color of their hand is really blending into your background.
Thank you. I need to fix that. I guess I'm wondering how much time we want to dedicate in this session to looking at all of these details, and would it be helpful if we talk about how we want to work potentially in a subcommittee between now and next time to come back with some edits and recommendations? Process question.
Yep, that sounds like a good use of time. So let's see. Trying to check my notes. Has a subcommittee been formed to take a look at the work plan as a whole?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right. So maybe we ought to just quickly form a subcommittee to do that work, to adjust it and bring back a proposal to the whole commission. And so are there members interested in being on a subcommittee to be doing a short duration piece of work over the next couple of weeks to develop a proposal to bring back to the full commission, hopefully at our next meeting or the one after, depending on timelines that they're able to pursue?
I'd be willing to be involved in that.
Thank you. And any other members interested in joining into a subcommittee to develop adjustment proposals to the work plan for the coming year?
I can help out.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Lynn. We've got 2, and I guess it can be, if no one else is ready to volunteer at this time, it can start with those 2, and maybe Sustainability Manager Lucky can put out a notice to the full commission inviting anyone else to join up with the subcommittee and developing that proposal to come back to us with the adjustments to the work plan.
Thanks, Chair Cabot. So let's see. So I think in order to form a subcommittee, you would need to take a vote, and it'd be, I think it would, we wouldn't be able to add members.
I see. All right.
Unless you wanted to volunteer somebody and they're not here.
No, I don't want to do that. All right. Well, so maybe at this point we could call for a vote. We've had two self-nominees for the subcommittee. And so if somebody would like to make a motion.
I move that we approve Vice Chair Headley and Commissioner Lynn to oversee that piece of work to develop the work plan.
I second. And
Okay, I will take roll call.
is this an item where we would ask for public comment, or?
I think we did. I know it's been a long discussion,
Mhm.
but if we didn't, someone let me know, but I believe we did.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Evans,
Yes.
Chair Cabot,
Yes.
Vice Chair Headley,
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn,
Yes.
and Commissioner Schmidt.
Yes.
All right, motion passes to form a subcommittee for the work plan.
All right. Thank you, commissioners, for volunteering to do that for us. All right. And-
Chair Cabot, can I just add one more thing? Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Okay. So we've received high-level comments about the top 4 priorities that were there. Is there, as you know, Commissioner Lynn and I run off to make some edits and come back to you all, is there anything else you want us to be thinking about as we come back to you all?
Yes, so for me, just seeing reality unfolding about the state of the world's climate and how rapidly it's changing is, causing me to want to keep looking at how we can be impactful. And also in some of my volunteer work, I work with other cities, and I see lots of city councils looking to the left and the right, looking to see what other councils are doing and not wanting to step out before others step. So it is a real problem in leadership, and that the councils need credible advice developed so that they can have the confidence to make the needed steps just to start something moving. And it does have a great leveraging effect of allowing others to feel confident in moving once they see a peer move. So, it's giving me more of a sense of urgency than I've felt in the past about, the value of really looking carefully at how to produce understandable, actionable advice to city councils so that they can put it in perspective. What are the pluses and minuses of grappling with the issue or kicking the can down the road? Because we've got a serious problem. So I'll boil that down to say, definitely my preference is to keep looking hard at what are the ways our commission can be useful to our council and to our staff in terms of helping move action on climate policy progress. And Commissioner Schmidt.
Thanks, and I want to really second that idea. The 2 pieces I hope we can maybe embrace in the priorities are, one is, you've heard me babble on a lot about working with nonprofits and pulling, being collaborative with the community itself. I think that's really important. But that what Tom said is super important as well. Like we are a small island in the midst of a very large ocean of community in the Bay Area. And if we can be talking to other equivalent city councils in the 9 Bay Area, well, in just the Bay Area counties, and bring those ideas back and evangelizing what we're doing, I hope we don't sacrifice, getting things done for the politeness of staying within our swim lane. Because this is, in a crisis, it's not about being polite, it's about just getting stuff done. So hopefully we can reflect that in the work plan. Like we'll be out talking to other cities, bringing ideas back and evangelizing and doing other stuff. And I know that that's a little less advisory and a little more active, but I think the time for being solely advisors might be done. Anyway, one reporter's opinion. So.
Thank you. So any other commissioner advice to help put it in perspective for subcommittee before they do their work? All right. Thank you. I look forward to seeing the adjustments and proposals coming back. Okay, now working on finding my proper agenda. Okay. So at this point, we've finished our regular business section, and we've moved on to reports and announcements from staff and commissioners. And so I believe Commissioner Schmidt has been producing a little bit of sharing that can happen on that. And excuse me, I do see a comment by Commissioner Evans.
Commissioner Schmidt can go first, though. It's okay, either way.
But go ahead, Angela. Mine will take a little bit of time, so if you've
Okay.
got one, then
Okay. Yeah. No. I just wanted to. I received a nice email from Juanita Croft, who oversees the Bellhaven Community Development Fund, and I'm looking right now at her email, and it looks like the Bellhaven Community Development Fund, and I'm reading part of her sentence. We are participating in the development of a joint Santa Clara County, San Mateo County Regional Climate Collaborative Grant. And she's interested in getting letters of support from relevant entities in Menlo Park, Bellhaven, East Palo Alto. My interpretation, my understanding is that the grant that they're developing would go out to community organizations who are doing important climate resilience work. And certainly this is consistent with our CAP 6. And so I wanted to raise that I received the email. I'd like what I could do, what I can, that's within my within the constraints of being a commissioner. And I know that the EQC doesn't generally write letters of support. We usually advise council to do so. But I wanted to raise it here to see if folks have some thoughts, or if staff has thoughts on ways for either the Environmental Quality Commission or staff, or trying to get counsel on behalf of staff and EQC to lend a letter of support for this effort, since it is extraordinarily consistent with our CAP number 6 goal. At the very least, I wanted to raise it and just have a conversation about how we could best support it. I mean, one idea is I could sign it as an individual, not on behalf of the commission, but I just wanted to raise that I've received it. It feels like important work to me, and I wanted to make sure you all knew about it and see what you get your thoughts.
Thank you, Commissioner Evans. And my understanding is that the the letters of support are needed in a fairly rapid timeframe? Is
Yes,
that by the 29th of?
that was in the email, yes, and I meant to mention that, thank you.
Yep.
It looks like the Bellhaven Community Development Fund is looking for letters of support by September 29th.
Right, and so
Quick.
maybe one possibility, it is hard, it seems hard to involve the commission and to have an action out of the commission because we did not, we weren't able to agendize that
Right.
type of item. But as an individual, it seems like there's a possibility is to draft a letter for a council member's signature or the mayor's signature that maybe would express, the drafted letter would express the synergy you see between efforts of the council, the city, and the commission. So then it would be that signatory's opinion about seeing the synergy and of the efforts, but for that grant. So I think that looks like my advice as far as a way to move forward towards getting some letter of support out to that grant entity.
Mhm. Thank you, Commissioner Cabot. Rebecca, do you have thoughts on what it would be an appropriate, consistent with protocol method for either me as an individual or EQC, seeing if council, or maybe it's just Mayor Nash writing a letter of support? What might be the right way to do that, if anything?
Yeah, so the way it's being handled is consistent with our protocol. So the Environmental Quality Commission is an advisory body to the City Council. And so anything that kind of really falls out of that scope becomes a bit of gray or not doable. I say, and with grants, there's always that time sensitivity and the urgency to get something together. If it does align with an existing city policy, I think there is room for, a letter of support depending on where they want the request to come from. Typically, it would be the mayor or the vice mayor. And so I could follow up kind of on your email thread, just kind of how that could potentially work.
Okay. Thank you.
But yeah, that's the protocol.
Okay. I mean, it definitely seems like it's consistent with our CAP 6. And so I could check back with the Bellhaven Community Development Fund and see if a letter from the mayor and or the vice mayor would be something that would be of value to them in this process. But yes, I would really appreciate that, Rebecca. If I believe you have the email, if you can let me know what that process might look like. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, and so I had already started to introduce the community collaborative conversations topic that I think Commissioner Schmidt may be able to report back to us about.
I'm gonna go mute there. Excellent. Oh, Rebecca, were you gonna run the slides or should I? I wasn't. Perfect. So I maybe as a little bit of a preface here, the members, Chair Kevin and Vice Chair Headley and I are members of the outreach subcommittee, and we recently kicked off, I think we announced at the last EQC meeting, we were kicking off a series of community collaboration sessions. And just as a recap, well, maybe go to the next slide if you would. As a recap, those are designed to essentially be a framework of vision, action, and collaboration with the community itself. So these are really purposely named, not an information session, not a tops-down presentation, but we kind of stopped at the 30-minute mark on both presentations, and we just opened it up for dialogue and discussion. And so we want to share different topics and a vision for what Menlo Park is doing in an environment of changing climate. We want to always kind of touch on what the city is doing as part of the climate action plan. But really a lot of this is about just gathering ideas and feedback so that we can provide better advice to the city council. You know, we can provide real-time advice based on something we heard 2 days ago from 5 citizens, you know, et cetera, as opposed to, you know, I worked on this issue 5 years ago and this is what I think happened. Like sometimes it's not as immediate as, you know, talking to somebody, you know, 2 days ago, kind of a thing. So that's what these sessions are meant to be. We proposed a number of topics. The first topic, the September session, was around a little bit of a sharing of the CAP plan. So the September session here was, what's the CAP plan? What are some actions? We worked with Rebecca and Ori to kind of put together a current list of, you know, what's been done in the city. And it was really kind of to get the ball rolling. And then we shared some additional resources, but it was a really good, rich discussion. So I wanted to, on behalf of the subcommittee, report out on some of the data that we had. But one thing before I touch on that is we'll have a series of proposed topics that we came up with here in the middle, but then we also asked citizens what were some of the topics that they wanted to see, and we'll touch on some of those as well. So maybe next slide. So we did 2 sessions, one on the 13th in Belhaven and one in the 14th in at the main branch of the public library. And just a shout out to the public library, to Rose and Nick and Sean. They've been fantastic at helping us get a space, get set up. You know, we did this a little bit scrappy and fast, and you know, decided that getting the ball rolling quick versus being perfect was the way to go. And the library and the staff was fantastic in helping us do that. And as we schedule new sessions, they've been fantastic as well. So just a quick call out there. But the data we collected in Belhaven, there was a 5-point scale, but we found that obviously this is an important issue for, nobody really rated this as not important, which I think is probably positive. But on a Likert scale, you know, this hit the 5s and 4s. It was very important to most people and somewhat important to that 6% of folks. And I think we're going to be tweaking these questions as we go, but we'll try to be longitudinal. We'll try to collect longitudinal data over time as much as we can. But I think a lot of what we'll see, and some of this is going to be pretty consistent for each session. So a lot of folks said that they want to make sure that we move toward the objectives at the pace to meet the 1.5 degree limit set in the Paris Accords. And then, you know, probably another question we'll tweak, but you know, we just want to move quickly. I think the message on the right-hand side is people want us to move quickly and they don't want us to go over some of these thresholds, to do our part to go over these thresholds. Next slide. So this I won't read, but hopefully people will have the data itself. Then we ask, you know, well, what if climate change is really important in that 96 percentile, you know, why? What are some of the reasons? I don't think there's anything in here that I don't think there's anything in here that's going to surprise any of us. You know, that I've got grandkids, I want a livable future, you know, it's about our health. So these are pretty consistent with what I think most of us would expect is the reason climate change is important to folks. And then if you go to the next slide, we kind of dove in a little bit and asked a little more specifically from the Belhaven community, what additional actions would you like to see from the city officials and staff? And I think some interesting kind of headlines emerged out of this. We'll leave this for everybody to read, but getting youth more involved, so somebody in the Belhaven audience kind of said, sitting with her kids, said, we want to make sure that this is the generation we're doing this for, but at some point they're going to have to kind of take over and continue the work. So I think youth involvement is one interesting area. Environmental justice was also a big discussion topic in the Belhaven community. And the good news is our next speaking session coming up is going to be around environmental justice and safety, the safety elements. So I think we're kind of right on the nose with some of the things that came out as well there. And then I think, as Vice Chair Headley said, you know, a lot of the discussion was around, hey, it's great we're talking about electric vehicles and other things, but in Belhaven, it's about how do we adapt to what's happening now? You know, it's too hot. How do we I think Chair Cabot said it, what are we going to do with heat waves? They're here now. How are we going to handle that? So that was a lot of the discussion. So maybe next slide, just so I can go quickly. Yeah, then the other questions we asked, also probably not terribly surprising, but good to just have the data so that people can, understand that what we probably assume is to be true is also reflecting in the feedback. That most people are between, a very decent percentage are very motivated or somewhat motivated to make changes this year. And we focused on transportation, electrification, and consumption, because those tend to be the things that are a little bit more personally involved areas. We can talk about more esoteric things like, are you going to change your diet and are you going to eat less meat? But the three big ones really are about, how do you travel? How do you use energy? And then how do you sort of consume the things around you, including food and plastics and all that? So the good news is most people are motivated to make changes, and also most people are likely to make those changes. So these are fairly healthy percentages. Obviously, we want to see more people be very motivated to do the things that they need to do, and hopefully we'll be involved in kind of increasing those numbers over time. Next slide. So these are things, I'm not going to read all these, but we asked people what we were trying to get future topics that we could come in. And the goal with these sessions is it's not going to just be members of the commission. We were speaking as private citizens, not as official representatives of the city. But we'll basically be turning these over to a series of speakers. And the speakers will, will be in these different areas. So we'll pull in speakers who can talk about electric vehicles, or who can talk about environmental justice or green jobs or things like that. So these are the topics that the Belhaven community was interested in hearing about. And this is, I think Nancy, yeah, this is everything over 50% of respondents. So we highlighted those in yellow just for a sense of prioritization. Maybe next slide really quickly. And then this shifts, it's the same question, but for the main branch. So we repeated that just for a comparison's point of view. It's interesting, I think the Belhaven community, it was more important. So by 6 percentage points, which was kind of interesting. I think that through work of other nonprofits and other entities, they're getting a sense that Belhaven may be somewhat disproportionately affected by some of these issues. So we haven't really had a chance to fully analyze the data and understand, get some insights about what it's telling us. We want to really report out what we heard, but I think as we dive into the insights and analysis, we'll be able to make some really interesting conclusions from this. The pace, I think people again want to move as quickly as possible, and they want to make sure we hit the 1.5 degree limit set in the Paris Accords. Next slide really quickly. Couple of things, same thing here about the main reason why climate change is important to folks, very consistent with some of the other in Belhaven. And then if you go to the next slide, also, there we go. Just, this is a little bit of a list that we can spend some time with Rebecca and Ori and City Council to talk through and what does this mean. So once we have a chance to really dive into the analysis and give a proper report out to City Council, I think we'll have some ideas based on this and other insights that we can share. Next slide. And then, yeah, there we go. And then motivated to make changes. Good news here is pretty binary. Nobody was at the lower end of the Likert scale. So, pretty much there's motivation there in the main branch attendance as well. And people are likely to make changes. They just need that encouragement to kind of, be educated about how they can make those changes, both in their personal lives, but also in other areas. And then I think this one is oh no, 2 more slides. Next slide. So this is also, again, the topics that we'll add to our list of future topics coming up. Some nice things in there that we're already thinking about around urban forest and canopy. But then there's other interesting things in there about like wildfire prevention and other things where maybe we'll talk to the fire chief and bring him in or members of his team in to talk. So some good topics there we'll be talking about throughout next year. And then the very last slide, drum roll please. Just next there we go, next steps. So we're in the midst of securing dates and times for both October and November. It looks like we've pinned down now, as of today, the 17th and the 24th, I guess, right, yeah, 17th and the 24th, Monday for the environmental justice and safety elements presentation in October. We'll do that at both the branches of the library. And then we're going to adjust the dates slightly for November for the building electrification topic, but it'll be roughly around those times as well. So getting those dates and times are getting pinned down now. The topics themselves are pinned down. We'll really ramp up the outreach for October and November. Special shout out to Mayor Nash and Vice Mayor Wallison. They helped us publicize this along with a lot of other groups, but it was really great because I think it's just getting the ball rolling with making people aware of these, but we'll be continuing to push that with our nonprofit partners. And then we'll be working on revising some of the survey questions and analyzing some of that data as well. Anyway, sorry, that was really quick, but I know these aren't meant to be big, long report outs like that, but wanted to make sure the EQC saw the results of this first outreach session and that we're, the engine's going down the tracks and we're going to keep going with all that. So there we go. And then Tom and Nancy, please jump in. Like if there's anything sorry, that was super quick, but hopefully that was covered most of the stuff.
The one question I'd been getting, and thank you for that overview and doing all the data analysis, was the question around the total number of participants in those two sessions last week. Do you remember that number?
It was about 30 total. I don't remember the exact split, but I want to say it was like 18 and 12, something like that. 18 in Haven and 12 in Main Branch.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed participating, and I was quite impressed by the collaborative discussion that happened in the second 30 minutes. After we did our little presentations up front, giving them kind of the slideshow about what was going on, what the city was up to, and what the CAP was like. When we turned it over to have the whole audience start discussing it, they dug in and they shared ideas and interesting strategies and big concerns. And so it was really good to see that kind of discussion happening and people expressing themselves and trying to work forward on what are the ways that they can make progress. So the community seems kind of engaged if they can get to the meeting. And now the challenge, I think, is to be able to attract more people to get into that conversation and to start participating in this transition. All right, and Commissioner Evans.
I just wanted to say thank you to the three of you for doing that really important work and then writing it up so nicely. It takes a lot of time. It's really important to engage our community, and I can tell that you're all very enthusiastic about it. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And are there other reports by staff or commissioners? Yes, Ori.
Hi. So I'll go ahead then. So a few report outs, mostly from the CAP 5 project to eliminate fossil fuel use in city operations. So we are moving right along with the Tesla patrol pilot for the police department, and we're anticipating an update. So returning to the EQC later this year to provide some information and an overview of that program and some of the things that we've learned and things that we hope to learn through that pilot, and then updating the city council early next year. We're continuing to work with the capital improvement program team on EV charging infrastructure, as well as our consultants, so that we can, as you heard at the August special meeting, we're looking at a number of electric vehicle replacements in the next vehicle cycle. And so we need to continue to support that transition with infrastructure at City Hall. and the corporation yard. And then we're also coordinating with our public works maintenance team on trying to meet some incentive opportunities for water heater electrification to take advantage of some monies that are available to install heat pump water heaters. And there's a few other efforts that are still underway with respect to the pool electrification. So we continue to learn more about that and to scope that project, as well as some other broader plans for City Hall and the Burgess campus. So with that, I'll turn it back to the group.
All right, thank you. It's good to hear that report from where the wire meets the road, or whatever the analogy would be. I'm glad that staff is digging in and setting the example and making the progress on their own buildings and fleets, and learning what are the dilemmas we need to streamline. So thanks for digging in there.
Yeah, I'll just add that Ori is doing a great job at moving this along as quickly as possible than expected. So I really want to give him that further elevation, that he's just doing amazing. And as with anything, when we're moving through a change, there's just so many layers of the onion to peel back. And Ori's been handling them very well. But we also want to be mindful of kind of what the priority is. And I think I mentioned many moons ago and months ago about kind of Ori's role of kind of doing outreach. But I think that we're finding, like, in order to take advantage of these opportunities, these financial opportunities, and to progress the organization further in being carbon free by 2030, his focus has been really strong in this area. And so we want to continue that momentum. So I don't want to leave you all hanging about outreach, but I am kind of working with our citizen volunteers and looking at kind of more comprehensively how we can still accomplish education and outreach over the next few months. So that's definitely not falling off the radar. It's again, just a matter of how do we want to prioritize kind of, again, the financial incentives that are available and the long range planning that we need to do in order to kind of get all these projects off the ground. And kind of from a policy perspective, Chair Cabot, you mentioned, we are working on readopting our 2019 building electrification reach codes for new construction to move forward into the 2022 building code cycle. So that would become effective January 1. So I'm working with our building division on kind of what that looks like, and kind of anything else that can be included that ensures that these new buildings remain all electric as part of that, and looking at our CAP goal number 3 for EV charging and making sure that we are closing all of the gaps for overnight charging at home. So I think our Menlo Park ordinance has gotten us quite a ways there, but there are probably still some very, I call them minor, that are not cost prohibitive aspects that we could look at to kind of secure our climate action plan goal in that area. And let's see, so that we're, as I mentioned earlier, working on our picking up the work on the leaf blower, gas powered leaf blower, landscaping equipment aspects, so that we can return to council as a team with the police department and also impacts public works, and kind of looking at how that all shapes up and how that can help achieve our climate action plan goals as well. And I'll send you the information. I do want to say, I mean, there is a large part that is smog contributed. That's not necessarily CO2, but there is a CO2 component to it that is large, because leaf blowers are being used more than they have been probably in the last 10 years. And so it does lend itself to that increase in emissions. I just wanted to clarify that a little bit. And Chair Cabot, again, you're always a great resource as well in kind of the information about greenhouse gas emissions and smog. So I think that's, and then probably the last area that I'm working on is the existing building permit fee waiver and credit for building electrification projects. So working with the building division and planning and kind of making sure we've got all of the kind of procedures in place so that it enables kind of an easy method to claim that waiver or credit.
Right, thank you. Thank you for working on all those things to make that progress. And actually, before I get to Commissioner Schmidt, I just wanted to bring up one idea that occurred to me from all the good work that staff is doing, especially on CAP 5. I recall the city joined ICLEI, and ICLEI took our recommendation to form an advanced cities group, the cities with the higher goals of more decarbonization, say by 2030, like Menlo Park. It might be a good opportunity to present results to that ICLEI group to show them, here's what we're encountering in Menlo Park. Staff could be sharing what they're learning from doing all that detailed work, and then hearing, doing some back and forth to hear how do other folks also address those problems, and doing a little bit of that cross-pollination at a staff level that maybe can help different cities move faster, and maybe we'll learn something too from them. So I might encourage staff to engage with ICLEI to see about sharing that kind of information where it can really be leveraged. And Commissioner Schmidt.
Yeah, thanks, Chair Kevin. And just a quick idea for maybe Rebecca and Ori. We could, based on that update around what the city's doing to electrify fleets and electrify other things, we could also have you be like our January presenters at one of the sessions. It could be part of your broader outreach plan, but it gets the ball rolling, and you don't have to do the setup yourself and the publicity. And this is where hopefully we can, help city staff. So, maybe we talk offline about, having you come in and being like the January presenters, and maybe partnering you up with somebody else if you want to do it that way. Or anyway, I just wanted to put that idea out there so you don't feel like you have to do outreach on the pieces of work you're doing on your own. We can help with that. So.
Thank you, Commissioner Schmidt. I really appreciate that. And we will be taking you up on those opportunities. I think that is a great platform for staff to engage in, and also support the activities of our individual commissioners as well.
And you'll see it's really interesting to hear that cooperative or collaborative discussion between all those stakeholders, and where they're building upon each other's ideas as opposed to just stating their sole opinions. It's kind of fun to watch. All right. Oh yes, Commissioner Evans.
Quickly, just saying thank you to staff for all the hard work on all of those pieces. It's recognized. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Are there any more reports from commissioners or staff? All right, and seeing none, I think we can bring this, we can adjourn this meeting of the September 21st meeting of the Environmental Quality Commission. Thank you all so much for doing this work, and I look forward to our next meeting and seeing the proposals in the work plan.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good
Good
night.
night.
Hi, everybody.
Bye.